Welcome to New Year's Eve traffic. Good morning, YouTube. My name is Will. This is my Evo 8 RS that I apparently can't shift in. Today is take 2 of the Evo versus Focus ST video. All of this because somebody's getting a speeding ticket. I planned for this video to come out actually like today or yesterday, but as I mentioned, this is take 2. Take 1 had a lot of issues. So for starters, I have a new lens, which is nice, but I was having some issues of using it incorrectly. Completely user error. I had some issues with the GoPro mount, being that I forgot it. So I was trying to like hold the camera at times. This isn't the GoPro, but I finished the whole video. I was editing it, and about partway through the edit, I was like, I'm done. This video sucks. We're gonna redo it. And one of those things I can fix. Well, I can fix all the things. 1, I'm getting better at using the lens. 2, I remembered the GoPro mounts today. And 3, well, 3 is where we're going right now to fix. Best Buy, which is shockingly busy for New Year's Eve. I don't know what all these people are doing. Then again, I guess I'm one of these people. I'm getting a microphone because I'm tired. I mean, I have a microphone, but I'm getting one that I can also use with the GoPro because the GoPro audio, it sucks. So we're gonna fix that today. All right, so this should hopefully solve the audio issues for the rest of this video. It's really hard to do with one hand. Seems to be working. This video comes because of the Focus RS. Now, the RS is an obvious competitor if you're gonna cross shop between an Evo. All-wheel drive, 4-cylinder turbo, it all makes sense. Naturally, I wanted to do a video on an RS. And I wanted to do that because I wanted to drive an RS. I've never driven one, and I still haven't. And as some of you know who have followed along, you know, the Focus ST days are, yeah, they're somewhat numbered. You know, I think we'd both like to replace that car at some point in the near future, maybe in 2020, this year. When an RS used one came up for sale nearby, it was like perfect. I've been wanting to drive one of these. You know, when I shop for cars, I like to kind of already know what I want. Then that way, I don't want to go out and like browse around and test drive. I like to have all that stuff kind of done ahead of time. So really, all I got to do is quick around the block type test drive, make sure mechanically it doesn't fall apart and so forth. But otherwise, I know I like the car. The test drive, I don't want it to be about, do I even like this car? It's just about, is this car safe and like put together? So the wife and I went to do that, and it went horribly wrong because the dealership would not let me test drive it. And I shot a little bit of that footage. I'll put it in here. Well, at least they still have it.
You know they're not going to let you test drive that alone, right?
Oh, they better.
I doubt it.
I've test drove a lot of cars alone here. Because it's a used car, so they don't always put the prices.
Oh.
I think they want like 33 or 34 or something. Front end's a little more aggressive. Very similar. Oh, this has the power seat, so this must be like a 18 or something, I think, or 17. Whatever year, like the first year I don't think had power seats. The second and third years did. Obviously, it's got drift mode.
Obviously.
14,000 miles. Very similar inside.
How much miles?
14,000.
I think it's what they call this.
Just so you can see it. But I don't want this video to be about the Focus RS and what an idiot that dealership is. When I left there, I was like, well, all right, not a big deal. I guess I'll do a video on something else. But I started to think about the topic more, and I was like, you know, honestly, yeah, in that 30, the high 20s, low 30 price range, you know, you're talking a low mileage Evo 10, a Focus RS, you know, some other things. But if you consider like the sub 20K range where like the Evo 8s live, well, that's Focus ST range. And I hadn't really thought about it, but I mean, I own both, so it should have been more obvious that people might consider both of them, but it just never was for some reason until now. Now I can already hear you guys at home saying like, this is stupid. Nobody would compare an Evo to a Focus ST. Well, first of all, you clicked on the video. Second of all, I think they would. You know, I try to put myself in somebody else's shoes. So somebody who's around 20 years old or so, maybe looking to buy their first car, or first car that's gonna have a car payment. And they might be thinking, you know, yeah, the Evo's one of those cars that, you know, most car people know about, but do they want to buy something that's 15 years old and has 150,000 miles on it or so forth? Maybe 120,000, 100,000 miles, whatever. When they could buy something that's 2 years old and has 20,000 miles on it for the same price. And while, yeah, an Evo 8 stock for stock, if you can find one, is faster than a Focus ST, it doesn't take much to get a Focus ST up to Evo 8 standards, at least speed-wise. Now, obviously, it also doesn't take much to modify an Evo 8, but the point being, if you want to have a, you know, 300 wheel horsepower, sub 20K car, both of these can easily do it. So there's something to be said about, you know, newer cars that are lower mileage, getting in a modern Evo or car, and, you know, kind of having that peace of mind. You know, life can get hectic, life can get busy. You're at a point in your life where you're starting new jobs, like your first real job, or you're in school still and different things, and sometimes you're like, you know, I don't need one more thing that's going to potentially cause me stress or inconveniences. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna drive the Focus ST now and talk about a few of its things. And to do that, I gotta go steal it from the wife at work. Actually, we're gonna take her to lunch first, and then we will drive the Focus ST. Hopefully it's not shaking. I've got it on the, maybe just turn it off. Got you on the dash there. Anyways, I'm picking the wife up for lunch. She has no idea what video I'm shooting. She just knows I'm out shooting a video, so we're gonna get her opinion on this topic. Hey.
Easy. My desk is where the balcony is there.
A few moments later.
Oh
All right.
yeah, is this the tax?
So I told people I'd get your opinion.
Oh boy.
Obviously this car has a few things I need to fix, but assuming all of them were fixed, Evo 8 or Focus ST?
Like I have to choose between?
Yeah.
Oh, Evo 8 for sure.
Okay, why? Why would you,
Why?
like, why would you want that? I'm saying for you, though.
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
I wouldn't pick either.
What? Okay. You're being, like, no help right now to this video.
It would, I mean, if I had to pick, it would be an Evo 8, but it's just because I like this car better than my car. If it had the amenities
The amenities.
that my car has, like power windows and power mirrors.
ABS brakes.
Yeah.
Simple things.
And like, it would be nice to have like heated seats and stuff. My car doesn't have that though.
All right, so.
But I would still pick this car, I think. It's faster. Really, it's just faster. And I like to drive fast.
That is true. That is very true. All right, so modern amenities. Keyless entry. Doesn't have power seats though. All right, pick this up in the daylight. You know, as car guys, one of the nice things you get to do with your wives is buy them cars that you like, but you don't like them enough to buy them over the car that you also love. So, enter the Focus ST. Trust me, I would not have bought this car if I didn't like it in a lot of regards. And for the money, I mean, we test drove a lot of things, and we were looking for new at the time, but in the price range, you know, there was nothing I could find that could really compete with this as far as, you know, features, performance, you know, a little bit of fun factor, which more than a little bit of fun factor. I mean, a Mazda 3 is a little bit of fun. This is a lot of fun. And, you know, if I can have one car, me personally, yeah, the Evo, obviously. I mean, that's what I have, that's what I did. But this is coming in second, and that's not an accident. Now, some of you may know that I actually sold the Evo 10 and bought this. Now, there were some personal reasons for that had to do with, this was cheaper, and that was the primary objective. It was cheaper, and I knew it wouldn't need any maintenance or anything really for several years, and it hasn't, and it's been amazing. And that's what I wanted. And that's kind of the whole point in this, is that I think as car guys, car girls, car people, car things, we forget like how nice it can be to just have like a reliable car that is also fun. You know, not every newish reliable car has to be a Camry or an F-150 or something. You know, it can be something that you can enjoy. And don't get me wrong, I love my Evo. But if I was in a career field, like, I don't know, like realtors or something, where like you drive clients around, yeah, let's be honest. They may not find the charm and the, I don't know, charm. Charm is, you know, realtor speak, you know, what's some other words for the quaintness of the cuteness, I don't know, what are all those realtor terms they use, of not having power locks or windows or sound deadening material. Guy's looking at me like, well, what is this guy doing? Because trust me, if you're trying to have a conversation, this is the car you want to be in. All right, we'll pick this up in a second. Wife had a migraine the other day. She unplugged the radar, which I get. But it's one thing to not have a radar. It's another thing to think you have a radar. I just realized, so that's always scary. I mean, there's no denying that this is a fun car. It's a quick car, super torquey. To be honest, I bet if you gave both cars to like your mom or something, and somebody who just doesn't care about cars, is just gonna drive like a normal person, told them to drive one of them to work and back one day, and then had them drive the other one back, asked them like, hey, which one seems faster? I would almost bet they would choose this one. And that is because the Evo, all of its power is up high. With this, it has a smaller turbo, which seems bad initially, but because it's smaller, it spools faster. So boost hits quicker. And it has a 2.3 liter motor. Ooh, cop's sitting up there, but he is not clocking. And thankfully, thanks to that, whatever that thing was that turned in front of me, I was not speeding. I'm not even close to speeding on this road. This has a 2.3 liter motor versus the Evo's 2 liter. So it's just a torquier motor to begin with. So bigger, torquier motor, smaller turbo equals a car that just feels so much better. Off the line, because of the Evo's all-wheel drive, assuming you're willing to dump the clutch, yeah, the Evo's gonna beat a lot of things, honestly. I mean, even stock Evos run like 4.5 seconds, 0 to 60. So that's still not bad by modern standards. An Evo is gonna leave this at the high end, sure. You know, once you get up to like highway speeds and above. But all that stuff in the middle, hope the mic's picking up. I just realized my jacket kind of covers it. Man, everything's a learning curve. Okay. Hopefully the audio doesn't suck. If it does, the good thing about this setup is if it comes out terrible, the GoPro is still recording audio, so I can use that. Anyways, like the usable, and that's why I said, like, if you give it to a normal person, that usable power band is so much stronger in this car. It's so much more easier to like kind of get around town without feeling like you gotta like really get on it. Like with the Evo, like you gotta like Jekyll and Hyde it and like hit boost and throw your head back and stuff, which is fun. But with this, it's just so much more usable, honestly. Now you start modding it and you throw a bigger turbo and everything else and you ruin it, then yeah. And that kind of brings me to my last point, and that is I've talked about this in previous videos when it comes to modifying, typically like Evos and stuff. I have never met a car person who says, oh no, I'm just gonna do an exhaust and an intake or something. Like, they've all got these grand plans. But I think if you're like truly honest with yourself and you decide, and you know you better than anybody, if you truly know that you're gonna have the funds available and the resources to really like build out a car, yeah, I mean, the Evo's a better platform. There's no doubt about that. But if you're not that very small percentage of persons that can do that and do it properly, the Focus ST makes a lot more sense. You know, if you just want to have a fun car, if you're gonna, you know, maybe do some suspension, do some wheels, an exhaust, intake, a tune, just like your normal bolt-on basic stuff, you can have so much fun with these things, and they can put out a lot of power. You know, when we bought this, I was in no interest in modding it. Looking back, I kind of wish I'd have done like maybe like an intake and exhaust in the beginning, because what happened is, like, we got into like this middle zone where it was like, well, I don't think we're gonna have the car that much longer, maybe like another year or so. So it just doesn't seem worth it to really mod it at this point. And now it's like we're getting towards the end and it seems even less worth it. So I kind of wish I'd have done it at the beginning, because now I have no desire to do it. The one caveat to that is I've yet to hear an exhaust. I've yet to hear one go by where I think to that, like, man, that exhaust sounds good on that Focus ST. They always sound terrible. So I don't know. I'm sure there's some good ones out there though, because there is no fake exhaust noise for the people on the outside. They hear nothing. Practically Prius level quiet. All right, we're gonna return the Focus ST, hop back in the Evo, and close this video out. Funny story is, working this job is where I discovered YouTube. I mean, I knew what YouTube was, but like really came to the realization that like people can make videos and actually like to the level that people were, and you can make money. And it's not that it was like, oh, I can make money. It was, I always liked making videos ever since I was in high school. It was just like this fascinating like concept to me. So it's kind of like where the birth of the entire YouTube for me started. So here we are a couple years later, slowly getting some traction. But so yeah, don't do it for the money. Like the camera's getting a little messed up here because I had to take it down and put it back up. I hope you've gotten some usefulness out of this video. This, obviously, if you watch this far, this isn't some like, oh, which one's faster, which one can go around the track, or we're not street racing or anything crazy like that. It's really like, really comes down to what makes more financial sense to buy. Now, I will leave you with this. If you go out today and you spend 15, 20 grand on an Evo, and you spend the exact same amount on a Focus ST, one of those cars is going to depreciate, the other one isn't.